I'm going to start off with the people that have been doing it, I guess you could say, the longest, and that's the Georgia Intellectual Property Alliance. And I will just tell you, this is a really special group of people. I don't think they knew, any of them probably knew what they were getting into when they started. I sure didn't. Many of us have been working on this, again, a long time, have known each other, many of us close to 20 years, and built strong friendships and have just, again, really had an amazing journey together. So I'm going to ask the Georgia Intellectual Property Alliance Board to come up. Why don't you all just come up? I'm going to read your names just so everybody knows who you are. But Elizabeth Lester, Wade Walker, Terriana Stewart, three of the best vice chairs a person can have. Karine Sakinik, who's our executive director. Mike Wright, who's our treasurer. Mike Hobbs, who's our general counsel. Barry Brager, who's our chief strategist and techno master. And then we have a Craig Cupid, who does education for K through 12. Yuri Eliezer, who does our fundraising. And then we've got a bunch of other people. Allison Eamon, David Aramian, Griff Griffin, Irina Faze, Jim Johnson, Peggy Still Johnson, Bob Koch, Gail Podolsky, John Sears, Chris Arena, Perry Binder, Sean Boger, Laura Brewer, Chasen Carroll, Elizabeth Cecere, Chris Chan, Ken Franklin, Rabbi Yaakov Citrin, Clint Crosby, Chris Kerfman, Ann Farney, Bill Florkowski, Chris Haggerty, Brenda Holmes, Doug Eisenberg, Jessica Kesey, Greg Kirsch, Charles Landrum, Jamie Lelever, Jason Lai, Eric Maurer, Milan Rizika, Sam Molman, Ioma Reggie, Daniel Sinaway, Ryan Walsh, Susan Wilburn, Sam Zellner, Russell Allen, Brandon Anthony, Umar Bakash, John Avery, Carol Beckham, Bruce Berger, Rob Cherif, Ashley Cornelison, Keith Cowan, Braxton Davis, Isaac Dajolski, Derek Eberhardt, Jim Forbes, Christina Forbes, Yaniv Halid, Laura Huffman, Kay Husbands Feeling, Steve Justice, Stephen Kabakoff, Julia Mehay, Nikhil Morris, Miles Neiman, David Knuckles, Len Pagana, Daniel Perry, Meredith Reagans, Art Recessa, Carla Redding Andrews, Kim Ribbons, Wes Richards, Mala Sharma, Cheryl Tubach, and Larry Williams. If anybody didn't think it took a village, this is the most amazing group I could ever be around. Please give them a round of applause. Hey, Braxton, help me move this thing. Let's move this thing out of the way. Is that the, yeah, let's pull it. Can we get it all the way? Yeah, just pull get it up, pull it over there if you can. All right. All right, we're going to get an amazing group, really proud of the teamwork. Again, I've got three of the best vice chairs a person could ever ask for, and I'm going to have each of them step up here and share something special about their responsibility. We have three pillars, right? IP awareness and education, IP collaborative ecosystem, and IP diversity and inclusion. And the first vice chair is Elizabeth Lester, who's over pillar 1, IP awareness and education. Elizabeth, she's going to share something special about what's in the
Hi, everyone. If you're not already sick of me, I'm sorry. First off, I have to say, something I expected Scott to say tonight is that IP is like oxygen. I really thought you were going to go there, right? It's something we all hear. It's something we need, but we don't even think about every day. While it may seem to many of you that today's celebration of IP has been only a recent success, it's been so many years in the making, all the way back to when I was in law school. I remember very clearly having lunch with Scott when IP Advisory Board at Georgia State was just a thing, was just starting. And after all these years, here we are today with the world. celebrating intellectual property. Okay, did that. So I feel incredibly lucky that I get to share my passion for intellectual property with Georgia and the world. It's not every day you get to do something that you love. And everybody who knows me knows how passionate I am about this. People are like, oh, you get so excited about this. You nerd out about it. Like, it's really cool. You have no idea. I'm really lucky, though, because I work with an amazing group of other leaders in the IP awareness and education pillar. All the way from my co-chair, well, the chair of my K-12 education initiative, Craig Cupid, working with Arena Phase, who does an amazing job working with community outreach, especially with the Girl Scout IP patch. It's amazing seeing these young girls learn about innovation education and IP all at once. Then we have fabulous people. Unfortunately, they can't all be here tonight, but we have Chris Kerfman in particular, who has worked with the Georgia Science and Engineering Fair and Laura Brewer at the University of Georgia. And just recently, I'm super excited, we have a group of extraordinary young inventors here tonight who received a Young Inventor Award this year at the Georgia Science and Engineering Fair. Let's see if I can find their name. I'm totally out of order. Elizabeth Richter, Elizabeth Steinspring, and Matthew Brown. Would you please stand? And also, their teacher, David Hahn. They had an amazing invention for their active model rocket descent controller. And they're high school seniors applying to colleges. Super exciting to be a part of it. And they also are all inventors with a pending patent application. I also would like to recognize the co-chairs of the University IP Alliance briefly, John Sears and Jerry Liu. John's up here, I think. There's John. He's hanging back there. And then also Laura Huffman, who recently stepped down but is still leading the charge with helping us coordinate IP guest lecturers at Georgia Tech. And we reach hundreds and thousands of students every year going and giving guest lectures at Georgia Tech. It's really inspiring. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. So if you're ever in the area and want to go give a guest lecture, just let us know. We'll help you set it up. It's great. And finally, on the awareness piece, I would like to thank Rob Cheroff, Laurie Hood, who couldn't be here tonight, as well as the rest of the fabulous marketing and technology committee, especially Barry Brager, who has helped us with our outreach efforts. Right? Without their help, we wouldn't have a website, we wouldn't have email marketing or social media marketing. And it really does take a village, especially when you have as many activities as Wade does with the IP ecosystem. So grateful to be here tonight. It's great to see you all. Thank you.
All right. Great Vice Chair number 2, pillar number 2, collaborative IP ecosystem, Wade Walker.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Elizabeth. I mean, you are a role model. The things that you've accomplished, and you do go way back. The very beginning with Scott. So it's just you're a mentor, and I really appreciate all your efforts and contributions. So in the IP ecosystem collaboration pillar, our objective is to help get people's ideas to market. As we like to say, we help get ideas from people's head into the hands of those who need them. We're making progress, thanks to the great support from many of you and an outstanding leadership team. The first stage of that is connecting people in the ecosystem, our creators, our protectors, our enablers. So once we establish that, we will have more momentum to help get those ideas from head to hands. I want to talk about some of the great roundtables and some of the great leaders that we have that are connecting people to help get them collaborating and working better together. Primarily, We're providing them with best practices and collaboration opportunities that help further their success, developing strategies to address hot topics or other important considerations, and providing expertise in response to their specific needs. So, October being IP month, a lot of the reason is because of these roundtables and our leaders who are making this happen. So let me do something. So just if you could stand, or a show of hands if you're a creator, an inventor, an artist, entrepreneur, or startup. Show of hands or stand. Thank you. So I want to thank, GIPA has an inventors IP roundtable, startups, entertainment, art, and sports IP roundtable. I want to thank Bob Koch, Ann Farney, John Avery, Allison Eman, Greg Kirsch, Daniel Sinaway, Peggy Johnson. It's just some of our leaders who are making that happen. Thank you so much. So, I want to give a shout out to our protectors, largely our IP attorneys. If you'd stand, or a show of hands, let us know you're out there. GIPA has a law firm leadership council. GIPA IP Careers events, IP Spring Posium, KIP Cup Tournament. Special thanks to Griff Griffin, Brenda Holmes, Ryan Walsh, Preston Hurd, Dan Kent, Sam Molman, Omuregi, and so many others. We've just got tremendous leaders who are helping make this thing happen. Venture capitalists, show of hands, stand. You can stretch out. Trip to the bar is okay too, that counts. So we have a GIPA Corporate IP Institute, an IP roundtable, VC IP roundtable. I want to take this time to acknowledge for their leadership Kenny Franklin, David Aramian, Allison Eman, Greg Kirsch, Daniel Sinaway again for chairing these events. And I simply want to say that there are so many others, many of you out there in that room that are helping to make this possible. So thank you for that. Those who raised your hand, that's our opportunity to connect people, bring people together, and really create a more efficient and effective ecosystem to help get those ideas from heads to hands. And we're working towards that by connecting people, raising IP awareness and education to begin with, and building relationships, the types of relationships that make these successful corporations, entrepreneurs, inventors, and so forth. So thank you very much for listening to the collaboration pillar.
All right, great job, Wade. And we're on to great vice chair number 3, pillar number 3, IP diversity and inclusion, Tariana Stewart.
So this is actually a full circle moment for me. And I have to correct you, Scott. I think it was 2017 is when we were first starting to talk about this, because I was in my PhD program and I first heard about IP and I was like, I think I can make this a career. So Scott, you were at Atlanta Tech Village and you were talking about it, and the only thing I heard was, we're gonna make Georgia the IP capital of the world. And I was like, world domination, sign me up, whatever you want help with. I am more than excited to participate in it. And now I'm fully employed, so that's good. And I'm very excited to be part of this D&I pillar. And so I think it's more than obvious why I'm valuing D&I. There's been many a times I've been in a room where I've been the only female, the only black female, and almost like the only female with a PhD. And so I'm really excited to lay out the initiatives that we have for 2023. But first, I want to thank a couple of people. I'm not sure they're here. Jessica Kesey, Jim Johnson, Chris, if you can raise your hand someplace. Elizabeth, of course. Gail, you guys have definitely been my support system in trying to lay out these initiatives. And then also Suzanne, if you want to raise your hand too, who's part of the World IPA, and all of you guys have just been a pillar of support to helping me with these initiatives. So I only have a note card. I didn't do like pieces of paper like everyone else. But why is D&I important? Well, as we advance these initiatives, within the workplace, within our corporations, we're increasing our emotional intelligence. And the reason why this is important is because it helps us to develop empathy, reduce unconscious bias, and just create an overall inclusive culture. So, as part of GIPA, since we were the first, we want to be a place for resources, meaning I want you to, what we talked about earlier today is look at your law firm, look at your corporation, take note of how many women are in your organization, how many women of color are in your organization, how many members are part of the LGBT community. And if you're scratching your head trying to figure out how can we increase this, well, plenty of resources. We have our patent pipeline program that was started by Braxton Davis. And Braxton was actually the one that got me into IP that long time ago. So what is the patent pipeline program? That's, again, we have a pool of students who are well-trained. And if you're a law firm looking to hire, you can hire them. And I'm actually excited to announce, because IBM Research is a sponsor, so is Meta, but we actually are able to, IBM Research is going to have one of our students that's going to start with us in a few weeks. And they've actually been fully hired by another law firm as well. And that's just one story. And we have another story too. And Brittany, if you don't want to stand, you don't have to, because I know you're brand new in this. But we have another young lady named Brittany Snow. Yeah, there you are. Who's also part of the program and actually been hired as well. So these are real life stories that you guys can be a part of. So if you want to be a part of it, come up, ask me questions. The Meta team is right there. Mike, yeah, there again, there they are. Ask Braxton about it, ask me about it. We're happy to get connected. If you're at a university or another corporation, you're like, how come there's not enough women submitting invention disclosures? Well, we have an innovation toolkit. You can talk to Suzanne right there about it. So we have plenty of resources on how to help increase D&I. And lastly, one thing that we want to make sure is that GIPA is setting the standard for what it really means to have D&I a part of our ecosystem. So we're going to have plenty of programs rolling out in 2023. And I look forward to a lot of people coming up and asking me about these different programs, or Braxton, or other people at the Meta table, and how they could increase IP, diversity in IP. So there you go. Thanks, Scott.
Well done, Trina. All right, this is the team that I keep telling the rest of the world's looking at. No pressure, but we are the role model. Everybody's expecting us to figure this thing out so they can work with us and learn and be great in their own rights. So the dream team, Georgia IP Alliance Board, thank you for all you do.